Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and turn on notifications so that you will receive alerts when there are new episodes. Go get it.
That's what I tell them. I've been grinding for so long, I wake up and chase my goals. I go out and I go get it. How to code, that's all I know. I don't succeed, then I don't breathe. Success, what does it mean? If I conquer all my goals, then I'm living out my dream. Dig deep, go out and get it. Success Chronicles. Compete until it's finished. Success Chronicles. Go take care of your business. Success Chronicles. It's deeper than just winning. Success.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Chip Baker coming to you with another episode of the Success Chronicles. And I'm truly excited about this one to be here with Coach Mark Schmid, and great coach, blessed and fortunate to achieve so many amazing things, make a huge impact in so many lives. And Coach, I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here to highlight you today.
Well, it's an honor for you to think of me that way. So I'm glad to be here.
Yes, sir. Well, let's dive into it. If you don't mind sharing with the audience, your background, where you're from, kind of track your journey a little bit so they have an idea.
Okay. I was born in California. No, not many people know that, but
I was just about to say I didn't know that.
the son of an Air Force dad, and he was stationed in California. I was born out there and lived there about a year and came back to Texas. But Mom and Dad are both from a small town, Texas. My mom grew up in a little community called Kinney, and my dad's from Brenham. And we moved to Brenham when I was 1, and I spent the first 10 years of my life there. Small town America. Never eating fast food, always eating home cooked meals. I mean, you talk about
life,
Mayberry RFD. That's my first 10 years of my life. We moved to Conroe when I was 11. My dad was an air traffic controller at the airport, and so we moved to Conroe for him to be closer and not have such a commute. Started school in Conroe ISD as a 4th grader. Went there my entire life. Had some great coaches and mentors during that time, and kind of caused me to think about doing this as a profession because of the impact those men had on my life. I had a great mom and dad, solid family, but there was something more that I got from those men that I wanted to be able to try to do what they did. And so Don Newsom was my head coach, and Don had a successful coaching and administrative career, followed by Weldon Willig, who was a coach of mine, and then actually gave me an opportunity to be a high school football coach back in 1987. And I stayed there at McCullough. I was loyal. It was my alma mater. Proud to be back. Wanted to give back as a coach and a teacher. Taught biology. Coached freshman football to start out with, and basically over the years climbed through the ranks, became a JV coach, became the offensive coordinator, the first assistant, strength and conditioning coordinator. I kind of did everything in that career, and the whole time I was on that path, I was also coaching track with one of the most influential people in my life, Dan Green. And Dan is still coaching. He's coaching the youth. He coaches elite runners. Just an unbelievable man. And I picked up so much from him on work ethic and just how to lead others. Along with my time with Don Newsom and Weldon Willig, and so those were guys that were influential to me. Not only when I worked beside them, but as a student athlete. I was their student athlete as well. And so it was great to come full circle and all of a sudden be beside them instead of underneath them.
How cool is that?
And all of the things that you saw them do when you were a student athlete, and now it starts to make sense, because now you're working beside them, you're part of those conversations. And so that's kind of my journey. And then I became the head coach at the Woodlands High School in 2004. Was a dream job of mine. to be able to come back and head up the program where you spent so much time as assistant, but where you were as a student athlete. And to be there, I was there for 14 years, and some great memories there. Worked with great coaches and great kids, great parents, and then I retired in 2018, or I thought I retired.
There you go.
Went to Sam Houston State where my son was playing football, and I helped out with their offensive quality control. Worked with the offensive line the first time in my life as a coach. Ever to work with the O-line. I'd always seen myself as a quarterback coach, a running back coach, a secondary coach, and I go to Sam Houston and they stick me with the O-line, something out of my comfort zone, but one of the most rewarding experiences I've ever had in my life, because I realized those guys are different, and loved being in the room with them. Loved being around the guy that was a head O-line coach named Darnell Stapleton. He's played for the Steelers. He's the O-line coach at the University of Florida now, but one of the best coaches I've ever been around. And so I've been lucky. It's not these things. I haven't necessarily sought out and chosen these things. They've been placed in front of me. And I've been blessed to have those men placed in front of me to kind of forge me into my thought processes and how I want to go about doing my business.
So good. It's cool to hear that journey. A lot of those things I knew, and a couple of those things I didn't know. So it's great to hear those. But I think some things come up for me as I heard you talk about the journey. I think hard work, consistency, grind, relationships, quality relationships.
Yes.
Those are all things along that journey that I feel, just seeing you from afar, like I feel that those things have been critical and crucial in that journey. And like I said, when I introed you, blessed to have some amazing opportunities, but those opportunities don't come if you're not doing what you're supposed to do.
Right. And to me, success, really is a byproduct of who you are and how you do things, and if you're happy with what you're doing, and people see it, and you're passionate about what you're doing and people see it, and you're consistent in what you do and people see it, those people become comfortable around you. You know what I'm saying? Because they know who you are, and then they get who you are. They get what your message is. The people that you hire share the same vision, and they see that. And those people stick around, and all of a sudden, you've created a culture, and it's not an ever-changing culture. It's the same because there's consistency, and that is, one of the things I've learned. I didn't know that starting all this, but one of the things I learned this is my 37th year to coach. Over all these years, this consistency is so important. It's so important to the kids because, consistency gives kids comfort, and they know what they're getting, and they know where the boundaries are, and they know what they can get away with, they know what they can't get away with, and they know what the expectations are. And so once you establish that, and they go, okay, well, that's Coach Schmid, that's just the way he is, then that's when you start to establish a culture.
I love that. Coach, you speaking my language now. I'm trying not to hold you too long, but you are speaking my language. Like I have a deal where I feel that like it's all relative. It starts with your habits. Habits build routines. Routines create consistency, and from that consistency, you build trust.
Right.
Just like you said, others around you trust because they know what they're gonna get from you without a shadow of a doubt. It raining, same thing.
Right.
Snow, same thing.
Right.
Like that's what it's gonna be, and so. I wholeheartedly agree with you, Coach, how you said, that because then, looking into it in a career-wise, it builds years of excellence.
Yep. Yep. You know, and then once you establish that the expectations are excellence, it feeds everybody that follows. You know, everybody that follows expects that.
Yes, sir.
And all of a sudden it becomes, this is who we are. And that's the one thing that I've seen that I think I've been able to benefit from is once that gets established, it feeds itself.
Yeah, that's good. And then after your college, well, I know we didn't get to finish that. So after your college stint, let's continue that if you don't mind. Then you came
after my college stint at Sam Houston. I had a great first year. I was all set to return. I was going to have a new role. I was going to be assistant wide receiver, and had already started meeting with athletes and with the wide receiver coach. And I got a call in late June from Greg Colshin and Danny Long. Danny was the athletic director. Greg was the assistant superintendent at Conroe ISD. Greg was my principal at the Woodlands. And they called me on, I might have been like June the 24th or 25th. And out of the blue, they said, what would you think about being the head coach at Oak Ridge High School? And I was like, where is this coming from?
Like, man, y'all are funny.
Yeah, what are you talking about? I'm retired. I'm at Sam Houston State. And they said, well, we have a situation. Now, and I know Derek real well. Coach Rush has accepted a position in another district as an administrator. And we really don't feel like we don't have the time to put this out there and get quality applicants because it's so late in the process. Would you be interested in coming back and getting us through football season as an interim? And so talked to my wife about it, and you know, she was on board, and so, you know, I met with them and talked about it a little bit, what their expectations were, and you know, basically it was going to be to come in and kind of keep the ship from rocking and give the seniors a quality season, you know, so that they don't feel like they. And I thought, okay, that's easy. I mean, I can come in and do that. And so came here, and the tough thing about it is, you know, when you come into a new position, you know, you like to bring people with you, but all the spots were filled, and so it was just me, the new guy.
Wow.
And so that was a difficult thing for me because I had been so used to having myself surrounded with people that I knew, people that knew me. They knew what I was going to do before I did.
Right.
You know?
Yes. Coach, that's golden right there.
Yes, it is so golden to have those people. You know, they knew what I was thinking before I thought it. And so then you come in here and all of a sudden, you know, people know who you are, but they don't know you.
Right.
And so that was a difficult transition for me, but I came in and, you know, the guys that were here welcomed me. I mean, it really, there wasn't any issue. Those were some good guys. They were in just a tough situation, you know. And so we made it through. And I fully anticipated that, you know, come January, I'd be going back to Sam Houston and doing my little gig up there. My son was there playing, and I was excited about going and being part of that. And they called me in and said, hey, we'd like you to stay. And so we talked about it. Had a good conversation with my wife, and you know, part of the thing is, you know, I really, outside of my first year as a graduate assistant at TCU, and then my first year as a real coach in Cy-Fair ISD, I had 30 years at McCullough and the Woodlands. That's the only place I'd been. And so you asked me to come over here and be the coach for the rival, coach for the enemy, you know? What are you doing?
What are y'all doing to me?
Yeah. And but that short football season, working with the kids that were here, and getting to know them, really created a huge interest for me to stay here. I'm like, this this could be fun.
It's a good place.
This is a good place, and these are good people. And so I accepted it, and then of course when I fully accepted it, then I said, okay, I got to make this place mine. I'm not just here to steady the ship and ride it through. I got to make this place mine now. Yeah. And so then that was a fun process, because then you start looking at who you're going to bring in, because my big deal is my entire career as a head coach, I have had great people around me, solid people that think like me, and that's one of the things I tell people, when I interview them. I said, I'm looking for a quality, when I'm talking about coaching football, I'm looking for a quality man, because if I've got a quality man, a family man, great values, he's going to be a good coach. Yeah, he's going to be a good coach.
And one of those guys just walked by who we were talking about.
Yes, he's going to be a good coach. And so then, that was my goal. I've got to start assembling myself with those people that I know are quality individuals that share my values. That what's important to me, that also will buy into my non-negotiables. If we're going to do this thing,
this is how it's to be done.
This is who we are. And so it's been a fun part of assembling a staff that share those values, that this is my 4th year as the official head coach, that when I look around and I see, I'm like, okay, this place is becoming my place. And that's been fun to watch the transition of that.
That's so good. Well, what are 3 things, Coach, you've accomplished in your life that you're proud of?
Golly, graduating from college was a big deal for me, because my family, my cousins, my grandparents, they were all blue collar, farmers, welders, working, manufacturing shops and stuff like that. And not that those are bad jobs or anything. I mean, but I wanted to go to college because I wanted to coach. And so the only way I could coach was to go to college. And so to kind of step out and do that, I was proud of that accomplishment, to be able to go ahead and get that degree to do that. My family is just such, I call it an accomplishment, but I've got a wonderful wife. We've been married for over 40 years.
That's awesome, Coach.
And
consistency.
Yes, consistency. And she knows who I am. She don't always like it, but she knows who I am.
Consistency.
But she's been by my side. She's been my rock. Fantastic mother, fantastic grandmother, and then raising your kids, through all the ups and downs of especially your adolescent teenage years with a son and a daughter, and you being a coach or a teacher at their school. That's not an easy thing, and
right.
you know that.
Yes, sir.
And then for them to still love you and think you're an important part of their life and want to include you in everything that they do, it's a blessing. And that's, to me, that's an accomplishment that I'm so proud of. And career-wise, just 37 years of coaching, you're with you have a lot of different kids. You think about all those kids that whether I taught them in a biology class, whether I coached them as freshmen, whether they made it all the way through, and then whether I be an assistant or a head coach, you have come in contact with a lot of kids.
Yes.
Every time I see one of them, and now they're getting older. I mean, I've coached kids of
the kids,
and they tell you what it meant to be a part of my program, or even when I was assistant, for me to coach them, just means the world to me, to hear that feedback. And so, those are things that I would classify as accomplishments that when I think about, I'm extremely proud of.
Let's hit on some of the like the accolades and awards, because I know some of the coaches of the year and some of the how far you've gone. Talk about some of that, some of the things that you guys have been blessed to do with that, Coach.
Well, I guess when you talk about that kind of stuff, one of the things I'm most proud of is I was inducted into the GHFCA Hall of Honor in 2018, and that's an honor, and they don't base it on your win-loss record. You are basically nominated by your peers, fellow coaches,
right?
Coaches that you've played against, coaches that you see at coaching school and know, and go. I served on the GHFCA board in 06 and 07, and so when I got the call that I was going to get that award, that meant the world to me, because that's something that your peers just decided that you were worthy of, to be in the Hall of Honor, and that was just wow. I mean, that was more than getting a state championship ring, because it says that it was affirmation to me that I feel like I've kind of done things the right way. Yeah. To be recognized by that, so that's something I'm extremely proud of. District Coach of the Year. When you have successful teams, you got a great program. That's something that naturally comes. And I think I've been District Coach of the Year 9 or 10 times. I was the Coach of the Year in the state of Texas in 2016. That's the year we played the state championship. Got beat by Lake Travis, but I was the 6A Coach of the Year that year. That's pretty special to me. And then I was the Touchdown Club Coach of the Year in 2016, and that's a great honor, because that's your area that you work in. Everybody knows, right? And to receive that honor for the Houston Touchdown Club was huge, And these things, I tell these people all the time. I said, you do something long enough, some of these things are going to fall in your lap. And so this is 37 years.
Yeah. I love it. That's good, but then it falls back, to the consistency.
Yes.
It falls back to the word consistency.
Right, the consistency.
And I think, too, just hearing you discuss that, being a part of, being around to see all of that, too, coaching in the district, I think, Coach, it's an amazing legacy. Yeah,
I'm proud to be the head coach here.
Yeah.
Because, it's the second high school in Conroe ISD that I've been a head coach of, and it was an honor for me to be asked to be here.
Right.
I mean, right. That's what I told my wife. I said, it's an opportunity to I don't know how many people get to do that, coach at one school, and then to be asked to go head coach at another school. And so that's a huge honor for me to be able to say that that they selected me to do this.
Right.
And then to be able to put your stamp on it and take it the direction that you want it to go. And then we've made the playoffs the last 2 out of 3 years. Got to the second round 2 of those times, which is something that hadn't been done in a long time here. And just see the excitement that it creates.
Oh, that's amazing.
The excitement from the community,
it's
the
amazing.
Excitement from the student body. It's just,
yes, sir.
What that does, and I always said that volleyball, cross country, and football are some of the most important sports in a high school, because they're the ones that kick off the school year.
Set the tone.
They're the ones that kind of set the tempo.
Yep.
And if you start off and you have a really good volleyball start, a really good football start, cross country start, it just kind of starts the momentum. And to be able to see that in reality is really is really fun to watch how that can create such momentum for the entire school year, for everything.
Yes, yeah. So good. This camera stopped. I'm gonna hit it again. We'll go stories, and then it should be good. Make sure I honor your time. Yeah, we're at 10:20. So. Just hearing you talk about those things, you already kind of hit on success. Anything else you want to add about success before we go on? Because I got a good one I want to ask you here.
I think to experience success, you got to be in a place where you want to be. You got to be happy doing what you're doing. That has to happen. Because then I think you have a chance to be successful. If you really can pour yourself into what you're doing, you really believe in what you're doing, and you like what you're doing.
Yes.
You have a chance to be successful. And success to me is relative. My success is different than your success. Okay? And it's because my interest is different than yours. Mm-hmm. And so, success to me isn't about winning, having a winning record. Success to me is about I'm doing something that I feel that's important and that I value what I do, and I can look out there and feel good about the results I'm getting. Whether it be and keeping a kid in your program and not turning south, and helping him to move in a positive direction, whether he played, a starter or not.
Right.
Being, to me, so many times, those are successes to me. And obviously, you want your group to be successful when they step out on the field. You want them to represent the community in the most positive way. You want people to think, wow, that's an outstanding unit that's out there, whether you win or lose. Those guys do things the right way. They play the game the way it's supposed to be. They honor the sport. They are a pride of the community.
Right.
To me, that's success.
Yeah.
When you can harness 16, 17-year-old brains to do that. You know what I'm saying?
That's a big success.
So success comes in a lot of different forms for me. But the bottom line is you got to be happy with what you're doing. You got to be where you want to be, and you got to have an overall goal. What am I? When this is all said and done with, what am I going to be happy with? And if I can be happy with, and then that's success.
I love it. So I want to ask you about any stories come up for you, throughout your career. Any really cool stories that you always kind of reflect on, that you may have learned some lessons from, or the kids or community learn some lessons from?
Yeah, I've got a ton of game stories that you're just where. It was in 2003. We were playing Arlington Lamar in the semifinals, and so you win the game, you're in the state finals, and we're up on them 28-20, and there's about a minute and a half left to go in the game, and we have the ball probably at midfield, maybe 45-yard line going in, and it's 4th down and 1. And, we really don't want to give them the ball back. And so we've got a timeout. We're on the sideline. We're discussing our options. And we're talking. And I hear we got our offense around us. And just give me the ball. Just give me the ball. Just give me the ball. And all of a sudden, he's heated about it. And he screams, "Give me the ball." And it's Danny Amendola, and he's standing back there, and I'm like, I kind of look at everybody and go, okay.
Give him the ball then.
And so we ran a play action pass, because 4th and 1, we play actioned it. He was in man coverage, and we threw the ball, and it was a 50-50 ball. He was covered. And he went up and he got the ball. And he scored a touchdown. It was in the end zone. And, the years later, when I watched him in the NFL, I mean, that's who that guy is.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what it takes to play at that level. That type of confidence, that type of tenacity. And so I've always taken that story, and I would probably tell it every football season to a team in a certain situation. Just because of that. It was a great story for me. Here I am, I'm the adult, I'm the one that's making the decision, but I got this 17-year-old kid that he's relentless.
Yeah.
Give me the ball. Give me the ball. You want to win the game? Give me the ball. And so, that's when you, as an adult, you step back and go, okay, I need to listen to these guys too. I can't just be the dictator and tell them what we're going to do. Mm-hmm. I got to get a buy-in from them. And so, fast forward to 2016, we're in the regional finals, and we're playing Garland Saxe, and they are winning 40-35, fourth quarter. We have a fourth down, and we're about on their 38-yard line, and it was 4th and 6. And defensive coordinator looks at me and says, "Coach, I don't know if I can stop them. Don't punt it." I said, "Okay." So I was calling the plays at the time. I signaled in to our quarterback, and he looked at me and he shook his head. And I held my hands out, and he signaled to me what he thought we should run, and I said, "Okay, run it." And we did, and we got the first down. I went down and scored. Ended up winning the game. And that happened. It was my son at the quarterback. Yeah. But that's the first time I'd ever been shook off of a play call. And it took
Does he know that?
Yeah. Okay. And it took me all the way back to Danny Amendola, where I need to listen to these guys.
Yeah.
Because they are stakeholders. They're stakeholders in
They're
this.
invested.
He's a senior.
Yeah.
Danny was a senior. This is important. And, so that was an important lesson that I learned over and over. Is we got stakeholders. And so, fast forward to here, so now, I talk to my guys, hey, what uniforms you guys want to wear? What do y'all like? What do y'all want to wear this week? Hey, I'm a guy, I like to defer. What do y'all think? Y'all want to defer, or you want to take the ball on offense? And so you kind of, and then on offense, hey, quarterbacks, what do you like? What concepts do you like? I know Coach Murchison does it with the defense, and so something that over years and years and years you start to go, okay, we got some stakeholders here. Let's get some feedback from them. Help me to transition from the old Vince Lombardi kind of coach to a coach now where you're including those guys in some decisions that you make. So those are great stories for me, and I tell them to young coaches, and I tell them to our kids all the time about just that part of coaching and that part of being that kind of player where you feel so confident in your abilities to deliver that you're willing to step up to the decision maker, the coach, and go, "Coach, this is," and that's them becoming men too, because they have to do that when they leave here, So those are two great stories that I like to reflect upon.
I love that. And I appreciate you sharing that story too, because I think that in order to develop teams, in order to have growth in anything you're doing, you have to consider the stakeholders.
Yes.
And that was a thing as a young coach that an older coach taught me, right? Because of course, like you say, like, no, you gonna do it like this, like get your butt, you're like it's gonna, like,
Yep.
like, yes sir, But then, like, you have more buy-in, right? No, without a shadow of a doubt. No, we're in this thing together.
We're in this thing together.
Yeah, it's not me.
Right.
It's not you. No, it's us.
It's us. Yeah.
Like, we're in this thing together, and we're gonna win together.
Yeah. And then to carry that to the adults that you're working with is one of the things I learned from Dan Green, the track guy, is in order for him to get complete buy-in from his assistants, he had to trust them to do their job. And so he was a big delegator. You've got the hurdles. He didn't tell you how to coach the hurdles. He gave you resources. So when I started coaching with Dan, I coached high jump, long jump, triple jump, pole vault, and the hurdles. Those were my events. When I ran for him in high school, I ran the 800 and the mile relay. I never did those events. So he gave me resources, videos. He sent me to clinics where the experts talked on those things, and I got to see. But he trusted me to develop a plan to develop those athletes so that they could function and perform at a high level, and trusted me to do it. And it's such a huge lesson for me, because when I became the head coach, that's kind of what I did. Instead of being a micromanager, I went, all right, you got the linebackers, you've got the running backs, okay? This is our overall offensive philosophy. This is our overall defensive philosophy. These are the schemes, that I want to use. I want you to make it work. And so it's a very valuable, because then you get those guys putting all their efforts into their position being the best it can be, their offense or their defense, whether they're coordinators, being the most efficient it can be, and it's not yours, it's theirs. And now they're buying in to what they're doing, and I think you get so much more out of those guys.
Yeah.
That when they feel like they are a valued part of the process, and they're not just given, here are the drills you're doing, these are the plays I want you to run. It's a different deal. It's
way different, and just reflecting on it creates loyalty.
Yes.
We talked about the buy-in, but now also, and this is something that I think, and you can tell me if this is right, but now it gives you an opportunity, like you just promote guys from within.
Exactly.
There's nobody outside that's more qualified than the guys I know I got right here.
Right, and that was so true about what I did when I was at the Woodlands. Whenever we would have coaches leave, we promoted from within. We didn't have to go outside, because you got guys in your program that you've delegated to. They've displayed that they have bought in. They displayed that they can function at a high level, and they want to work, and they're loyal. And then you build that culture and that consistency, because that's big. Like me being here for my interim year plus the 4 here. The junior high kids, when they get here, they've seen me when they were 7th graders. It's not like there's some new guy here, so they already know what our program is about. They already know, they've already heard what you can and can't get away with. They've already heard how, and so they come in with a good basic knowledge and understanding of War Eagle football is going to be about.
Well, Coach, I just want to say again, thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with me and be interviewed on the Success Chronicles. I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I truly appreciate you making the time, and thank you so much for all that you've done for the profession, in the lives of so many. When we reflect on that, like I said, I mentioned the word legacy. I think it's an amazing legacy. So, Coach, thank you for all of that.
Well, thank you for thinking of me to be able to do this. It's an honor, and happy to be here, and excited about being here, and excited about our future.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you guys for checking out this episode. We'll see you next time. God bless. Go get it.